Hi, so today we have Anam Rahman with us, who is currently located at Bangalore, and she's a chartered accountant, qualified chartered accountant, and she's working with Amazon, which is a dream company for most of us. So today she'll be sharing her placement journey and what is life after being qualified and placements. So hi Anam, how are you doing?
Hi. Hi, Trishika. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So,
Yeah.
Anam, the one question, the big question that everybody may be curious to know is that how did you land up at this job? Was it always your dream to get into Amazon, or Amazon just happened to you?
I would say a mix of both. During my industrial training, Amazon was one of my dream companies to work with because of the profile that they were offering. I am a person who's more who enjoys automating processes and working with data, like data manipulation and working with data, right? And so Amazon was offering that kind of a profile even in industrial training. But I didn't join Amazon during my industrial training, and now this happened through campus.
Okay,
And yeah, and again, Amazon came with a dream profile. That's how it happened, because I was more focused on the profile all along,
correct.
more
Hmm.
than the company. So yes, obviously company was obviously one of the factors, but the main, I would say, the focus was on the profile, because I wanted to explore the budget side, the costs, cost side. I like the subject costs a lot, so like anything related to that, and that's what I got in Amazon. So to answer your question, it happened through campus, and yes, it was sort of my dream company.
I love that you say that it wasn't the company that attracted you, that most of the people would go for the company. But I like the way
Right.
that you're saying that one should focus primarily on the domain that they want to get into, because once you
Exactly.
fixate on that, then whichever company you go, you're going to make great, going to make good out of it. So, Anam,
Right.
at Amazon's particularly, what was the process of getting selected? What was the interview process like? Can you just tell us how many rounds and what it is about, how it was about?
Sure.
Yeah.
As most of us are aware, through campus placement, there are it starts with the company first shortlisting you, and then you have to select the company.
Correct.
I would say the very first screening would be them reviewing your campus profile and then short listing you. That is the screening process. Post that, the first round was sort of a version test, like a language,
Oh,
testing your grammar and English communication skills.
correct.
That was, MCQ, sort of. It
To
was an
check your
MCQ,
your English, how good you are at
communication
English
skills,
and all of that.
your
Correct.
grammar.
Correct.
Yes, and it was not just an MCQ. Like, you had to rewrite some sentences or shorten a mail, and it was time bound. So it was a little different from what we normally see in for grammar tests or person tests,
Correct.
right? But not that difficult, if, like, it
Was
wasn't
it
that difficult to crack.
was it similar to the one version test that CA Monk has on its website? Was it on the similar
That's a
lines?
good that's a good place to start, I would say. Yes.
Okay.
Like, the MCQs are were quite similar. Like, it will
Okay.
help you understand the pattern.
Uh-huh.
And but yeah, there were certain things, as far as I remember, which were new, like the different type of questions, like how are you going to frame this situation into an email, things like that.
Oh,
So yeah. Yeah, so you have to be very fast also, like, because
it's a
I
time
think
bound
I
test.
finished. Yeah, it is time bound. It's not just clicking an option, you have to write sentences also.
Right sentences.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the first round.
Okay.
Then again, there was a first, round with someone from their communications team. So I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, but
No
like,
problem.
Amazon has soft skill trainers at their company. So
Okay.
the first round is, again, you could say like a one-on-one communication skill round.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah, that shows like the company focuses a lot on it, on your like there were a lot of behavioral questions asked. And that's about Amazon, which was also told to us in CMO while we had this
Correct.
program where like someone from Amazon came and helped us uh, with the preparation. So it was mentioned to focus on the leadership principles. So questions relating to leadership principles were asked. Then the third was, after you qualify from the communication skills round, you go to the next round, which is with a financial analyst
Okay.
uh, of the same team.
Okay.
There it is a mix of behavioral questions and technical questions. And yeah, so that is like a proper interview round where intro and HR questions and behavioral questions, technical questions all were asked.
Okay.
So, and the final was with the leadership team. I mean, that's the name of the team that Amazon uses, which is for a very senior, one of the senior levels.
Hmm.
Um, right. So there also, again, in the leadership team, there were no technical questions as such.
Okay.
I think one or two, hardly. Mostly, it was behavioral questions
Behavioral.
related to their
Maybe like
leadership principles.
leadership principles, and the case study based
Yes.
questions were also part of
Yes.
this round. Okay. So how
Right.
did
Sorry.
that go?
Thanks
Like,
to that. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. So there were case study based questions as well in both the cases. So
Okay.
by both I mean the second last round with the financial analyst.
Uh-huh.
So and the last round with the leadership team. So in leadership team, the case based questions were all behavioral questions. What will you do in such a situation? And in so you have to follow the star method, which was again introduced
Acha.
like taught to us by sir. And in the technical round also, like there was a situation given or like cases given, and then you have to answer based on whatever you know. Yeah.
Okay, so to summarize, I think we had 5 rounds that you had to go through to get into this
Right.
process. The first one being your Western test. The second is the communication skills will be judged and your soft skills will be checked. And the third one is your technical round, right? And then the HR rounds follow, and all of that happens. And then there's a leadership based round, and then finally the PI where you are ultimately selected for your for being shortlisted as a.
So I would, sorry, but I would say like there were 5 rounds only if you include the screening at campus placement. So
Okay.
first is screening round, which is through the campus placement website.
Okay.
Second is the Version test.
Person test. Okay.
Third is the communication,
The soft skills and
yeah,
all are
the
getting
soft
checked.
skills
Okay.
round, you can say. And fourth is the PI one, which is with the leadership, with the which was with the financial analyst. And the fifth was the leadership teams round. Yeah.
Acha. Okay. So of we I know like a lot of people want to get into Amazon because obviously there's a lot of noise about the brand name, and of course they provide you with a real good package and everything. But while preparing for the interviews, I think one of the key points one should keep in mind is their leadership principles, right? There are how many
Yes.
leadership principles that you need to like always like be well versed with.
Since you are a fresher, they also know that you are a fresher. So a lot of leadership principles sort of apply mainly to the ones who have some of them, not a lot. Some of them are about, like for example, hire and develop the best. So this is
Correct.
not something which we might have experience in unless you have worked in your family business or something or the other, or maybe you were student coordinator in your school, head girl or head boy, and you might have had to select a team. But
Uh-huh.
what I would advise, there are the ones which they focus on is learn and be curious, or
It's okay.
dive deep, right?
Dive deep.
So yes, so we were again given a list of the leadership principles that we should focus on. But what I would suggest to anyone appearing for the interview is it's easily available on their website, the
Correct.
leadership
Correct.
principles with the
Yeah.
descriptions. So pick up each and write a short, uh, you know, 2 or 3 lines of your experience, starting from your childhood till till date, like whatever you can relate to that principle. Like if, for example, if it's learn and be curious, so you can quote incidents like how throughout your life you have maybe taken part. In my case, like I have always tried to get like an all-round development, so I've always tried to
Correct.
learn new things, new talents, and some curricular, I'm always
Right, right.
involved in some of the other curricular activities. So
Mm-hmm.
I wrote that down, that okay,
Yeah.
this is what I can speak of if I am asked about learn and be curious, or dive deep about how I am into the details, and things like that, right? So it's better to keep yourself prepared with all of them, and that will also help you in the interview. Even if you're not directly asked about any one of the leadership principle, you would figure out, okay, this is the principle that the person wants you to
Correct,
speak on
correct.
when they ask you the case studies. So yeah.
So I can say that this is one point that took you an edge above the other candidates because you were prepared not just for the principles that were to come to you, not just the leadership principles that they were supposed to ask, but you tried to, make it your story. Like you told the interviewer that, okay, I've already been implementing these principles. So this is a very smart way to give an interview. So
Right.
that would come bring me to my next question. Apart from this thing that you did that took you an edge above the other candidates that applied for the same role and the same company,
Hmm.
what is that one skill or what is that one thing that you think that you do differently than the other candidates that might have not gotten through this? Because we all know that Amazon is not an easy company to crack. So
Right.
please share, Anam.
Yeah. So I'm not generalizing here, but what I have mostly seen with CA students is that they, instead of making CA a part of their life, they make it the entire life. So that's all that they do throughout their life. They don't look at other sides. They don't look at other curricular activities. So this is not just for Amazon, I would say. This is for every company. I had my industrial training stint with Goldman Sachs. So
Yeah,
there also the focus is on all-round development, and
correct.
especially communication skills, irrespective of whichever team you want to go to, like whichever
Okay.
field you want to join. You are an engineer, you could be like any like data scientist or anyone, but you need to have communication skills, especially if you want to work for a brand like Amazon or Goldman, like MNCs, because we work with our stakeholders who are all based in Seattle. So and they are from all around the world, even the ones in
Correct.
Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so some are from Germany, some from the Asian countries. So the only way of communication is English, and it's
Right.
very important that you frame it in a way that they get it in a short time, because we don't get to interact with them for a very long time. If you are working in an MNC, you will be connecting with teams which are not based in India, and you will
Okay.
not get the entire day to connect with them, so that you can take your time in framing the sentences, or take your time, like stretch the conversation long. You have to keep it precise, you have to keep it quick and to the point.
To
So
the
to
point. Yeah.
have proper communication skills is important, to be able to figure out their accent, to these are like some language barriers that we have, the semantic barriers and all. So but one has to be prepared with that to be able to get into any MNC.
MNCs. Okay. So
Yeah, so I
confidence.
think I would
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
the thing which gave me an edge would be the fact that I have been focusing on a lot of other things apart from CA. Like I was a part of Toastmasters Club, which is a public speaking forum. So instead of going to the interview and saying that I have good communication skills, I had it in my CV that this is the proof of my communication skills. So the
Correct.
person in
Correct.
front of me never had to ask me, "Do you have good?" Like they can see it in my interview that I am a like I have done some trainings. I am part of a club which is focused on public speaking, or the fact that I learn so I also do like ballet and something or the other, Spanish, play football. So they know that okay, this is how. So when I said about learn and be curious, so I got quote examples from my CV itself that see I've done all this, so they have the proof. Yeah, so I will say that focusing on all-round development, specifically public speaking or communication skills, is what gives you an edge in any company, for that
In
matter.
any company. So your confidence, your proficiency in English is very
Yes.
important when you're applying for an MNC, I would say. and your
Right.
all-round development. Just don't focus on academics, but also focus on other things. So the interviewer can see that, okay, this person is can multitask, can do a lot of things apart from just focusing on the
Hmm.
curriculum or just focusing on the person's life is not revolving around a particular degree, but he is well equipped to manage a lot of things, correct? So these things
Right.
can help
Just
you. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a couple of things I would like to add to that
Uh-huh.
is one, that proficiency in English is obviously good to have, but
Uh-huh.
a lot of people were hired who, I wouldn't say like all their sentences are grammatically correct, but it's about how clear you are with your message. Okay, so as long as the person in front of you understands, you don't have to worry, because a lot of people I know, they worry when speaking in English, they worry about whether my grammar is right or not. Obviously you need to work on that, but even if you don't, it's like the confidence with which you speak and the clarity of your message,
Clarity.
that
Yeah.
is very important. So you might have been like, from like a hint, like any bilingual medium school, like any other, like which was not English medium. So
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
may struggle with it, but try to, like till the time, like during the after your exams, maybe like try
Correct. Correct.
to practice as much as you can. And even if you are grammatically incorrect, but if you get the message across, that is very good. So I wouldn't like, just to make others not feel so nervous about
Yeah.
this entire
Exactly.
English thing. So yeah, just saying that, like, there are people who have been hired who do not speak in proper, like, Shakespeare level grammar, or like,
Exactly. Yeah. But if you can
yeah,
just put your ideas into words, then that
ideas
will work.
across.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's
Yeah, and
amazing.
the second that I mentioned, that you said about multitasking, yes, the
Uh-huh.
focus is on multitasking, because when you get hired into, if you are going for like, smaller companies, like if you're going for a firm or something, there the focus is usually on, yes, you will be focused on one thing, which is the finance part. But once you join MNCs and all, here the focus is also a lot on automation, and where you would have to be adaptable to and ready, like flexible to learn new tools. So like
Absolutely.
tools which, you cannot keep this mindset that, okay, this is an engineer's job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with the way things are, like, going in terms of AI overall, I'm saying, like, in general. So
Okay.
one has to focus and be ready to learn as much tools as we can. And since we are freshers, it is expected of us that we will
Right.
be ready to learn. So you need to, like, have that thing, show them that yes, you are ready to learn, and that you can multitask, you can focus on your finance profile and simultaneously pick up the tools and automate the processes. Yeah,
Correct. Correct. So you're talking about automation. That is the like now it's the most buzzing thing right now, and every company is
exactly.
looking for somebody who can, automate processes or knows about these tools. What tools
Right.
exactly are you talking about? What are these tools? Can you just brief us on that?
Okay, so starting with, like, when I joined, let me like give you background on both my industrial training experience
Sure.
and Amazon for this. So before joining Amazon, like before getting into Goldman, the only tool that I worked with, and I'm sure most of us would have worked with, would be Excel, the Word, like, Microsoft Office.
Correct.
So that is fine. Like, even in your article, like for industrial training interviews, articleship interviews, and even I would say to an extent for the CA fresher jobs. Okay,
Correct.
so they're not asking a lot from you. But what have you done with Excel, that matters. If you have just been using the basic formulas, then that doesn't make you stand out, right? So
Exactly.
you need to know more than just VLOOKUPs and yeah, so like the basic calculations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I had. So in my articleship time,
Mhm.
what I had explored most, yes, it was VLOOKUP, pivot tables, but I did try to, use macros. I didn't do my articleship from a very big company, but still I was looking for opportunities to see how, I can automate this regular task. So when people say, right, things are monotonous at my job, so that's on, like, I would say a lot of it is on you also, because you are not trying to
Correct.
automate it when you have the tools. So you can, the least you could do is work on macros and see, okay, how I can, make the system do the work
Easier.
itself.
Yeah. You reduce your redundant
Right.
tasks and just make it a little easier. Right. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and do courses. There's so many courses available. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say in the initial phases, just focus on Excel,
Okay.
maybe, and that will help you even later. Even now, like we've been asked, like, just get more trainings on Excel. So a lot of companies use that. So keep Excel as a priority. That's a, like, on an overall level, it will help you. Then once I joined Goldman, they had their own tools. So a lot of companies have their own internal tools.
Correct.
Right. So
Correct.
there is one tool called Alteryx, which is there for everyone. But
Uh-huh.
Goldman have their own Alteryx based UI.
Okay.
So when you join a company, there's this 1 month of honeymoon period, which you will get in
Yeah.
every company when you're trying to get the
Correct.
access, when you're trying to know
Yeah.
everyone. So that is a very good time to figure out which tools your peers are using, and
Mm-hmm.
to pick to do the trainings in their tool. So every company, if they have their own tool,
Mm-hmm.
they will also have their trainings on it. So what
Okay.
I did in my first month of honeymoon period was work on that. Like I learned that tool,
Correct.
and I wrote like whatever sample programs that was there in the training. That really helped me, like, and the result of that was that within the first month, like within 2 months, I would say now, within 2 months I was able to automate one process.
That's
So
amazing.
that created a very good impression. And during my
Exactly.
short stints of 10 months with Goldman, I automated, I think, four processes, three or four, as far as I remember. Yeah, I think it was four. So so the more you play with those tools, the better it would be. But obviously, if you haven't done your articleship from a big company, you've done it from a small company, then focus on Excel. That's all
Okay.
you need. But if you have joined any other company, try to see which tools that they're using and try to explore that. Even if like you do one automation or help out in some of the automation, one or two processes, you can brag about it in your interview with the freshers, when
Correct.
you're going
Correct.
for a
Correct.
C fresher job. That will give you an edge, that this person had a minimum time but still was able to look into these things. So keep Excel as a priority, I would say. Word in general, like sorry, Office, Microsoft Office, uh, and other tools, as many as your company uses, as many as you can learn.
That's-
Yeah,
So basically, have a mindset where you are trying to create an impact at whatever place you are, like with whatever tools you
right,
have in hands, you try to make the most of it. So you put it in use in such a way that it shows that okay, this person made an impact at this place, and he used his
exactly,
creativity or he used his own brains to brainstorm and bring the best possible solutions in the shortest time.
right,
So that is something I think most of us should be focusing on. That doesn't matter what kind of tool you've learned, make sure you've done something different with that. Like you said, you used to use macros. So most of us, I'm
hmm,
sure, were only stuck at the basic formulas and pivot tables and this. So macros is something that the minute you speak about that, okay, I used macros, so it makes the interviewer feel that okay, this candidate is already like different than the
right.
others. So that is something that's amazing. So coming to my next question, Anam, why financial planning and analysis? Once you qualify, there are 10 other things that you could think about. So why financial planning and analysis is the domain that you chose?
Right. So this is honestly very subjective question. So it depends on every person. So honestly, when it was done with Goldman, I was offered a role in Goldman. So
Okay.
I did not like it. So as I told you, I was never behind the brand name. I was never behind that. I was always behind the name of the like the profile, basically.
Profile, right,
So,
right.
and obviously, if someone has done an industrial, this is something which my seniors at Goldman told me, that like once you have a good name in your CV, a good company, try not to go for startups in the beginning. Like, try to keep that level. So that is, this point is where I said, where I focused on the brand name. This is the one thing, that okay, if it's not Goldman, it has to be of that level, or something which
Yes,
would give
yes, that
my
would match up.
CV match up with my industrial training. So that's the only part where I focused on the brand name, but mostly it was on the profile. So I was getting like a very I knew that profile that I was being offered at Goldman. Like I had an open discussion, and
Correct.
to like I asked a lot of questions. You should ask a lot of as much questions as you can to
As you
understand the
can.
profile. Yes, because the words might look fancy in the job description, but you might end up doing something very monotonous. So in my case,
Correct.
it did not involve a lot of analysis. So, and the kind of profiles I needed required experience. So I made the call of, keeping that as an option, but let's explore more. And as I mentioned, so there were two areas that I wanted to explore. One was investment banking, and the
Okay.
other was the cost side, the budget and analysis and all of that. So I did get an exposure in investment banking side with during my industrial training, and then when I saw what roles I'm getting and what I can get, like if I have experience, so I decided not to go with it, and to focus on the other side, the cost side. So in
Right.
financial planning and analysis, what I saw in Amazon's case was there was a lot of analysis
Mm-hmm.
involved. It's not just that I'm copy pasting and sending out the reports. So
Absolutely.
it wasn't going to be like that. I will have to analyze and find out like what's going wrong, and there's a lot of standard costing also involved in this profile that I am doing. So in terms of like figuring out the variances, and not just like getting the numbers, but also understanding why it is happening, and look diving deep into it, as I said, right? So
Right.
so that is the principle here. And also so this is the kind of role I wanted, where I'm not just a report generator, but also like someone who's giving out like analyzing the entire situation and giving some solutions to it. So yeah, so which is why, like, I went for this profile.
That's great, Anam. That's a real good insight on why, what one's approach should be while choosing a domain. Don't go for
Right.
something that can easily be replaced tomorrow by machines that today AI is
Exactly.
in. So you make yourself equipped enough, or your skills are sharp enough that you can survive if a process is automated, or like tomorrow the thing that you are doing may be automated, but you keep
Right.
yourself like equipped enough, or like skilled or sharp enough that you can be placed even if that is not available, if that profile is not available, right? So
Exactly.
now coming to a little lighter note, I think we've covered a lot of uh, questions and a lot of important things that people's heads may wrap around, that, oh, what is this, what is that. So to come on a lighter note, tell me about what the work-life balance at Amazon is, or how is life after qualifying? Since you two are a freshly qualified chartered accountant, what is the feeling
Right.
like? What is it on the other side?
So, honestly, I was not so obsessed with CA.
Hmm.
So once I qualified, I wasn't living in that castle, or like, in that I had my head all wrapped around it, that, oh, I'm
Hmm.
a CA now, and I forgot about it. Like I was
Okay.
like I was on a trip with my friends, because after
Uh-huh.
exam I needed a trip. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
going
yeah.
to Goa, and I had decided not to see my results. I was in Goldman, like I
Oh,
went to meet
wow.
my seniors. I was in the office when the results and all came out, and they were like, "You have to see it." And I was like,
Correct.
"I don't want to. I don't want to ruin my trip. What if you know
Yeah,
it
yeah.
goes on the other way?" Right. And I was done after I wrote my last word in my answer paper. I was done with CA. Like
You were
I
you
didn't
left it
care
right
what
there.
the result
Yeah.
would be.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
I was done with it. So I didn't want to look. I told all my close friends not to tell me when the results are coming out, but some one friend called, and that's how I got to know. And I was
Okay.
taking my flight then, and I'm like, yeah, okay, good for you that the results have come out. You can go ahead and see it. I am not going to. So
Oh, wow.
so I took my time. Like I did not fuss about it so much. I didn't see it on the first day. Then the next day, one of my friend advised that, the big companies, they might close their interview process, like the
Correct.
screening process and all of that. So that's when I saw, and then like totally forgot about it. Like I was involved with my trip, and then when I came back after that, I started working on interviews and sitting for campus, all of that.
Okay.
So it is going to be very hectic, honestly, after
On
even
that
after you
is.
have qualified. I have seen people, like I live in a PG here, so there are people who just got a job. Like the results came in July, right?
July.
So there
Yeah,
is
yeah.
one, like I know this is one live example that I'm sharing, but I know in general also a lot of people are struggling to get the job. And it is mentally tormenting, obviously, because you have done so much, you
Correct,
qualified,
correct.
and yet you are, because, and it's also sad for our batch specifically because of the recession thing happening. So
Absolutely.
there are layoffs going on, there's hiring freeze. So yeah, it could be a little tormenting for some people even after you have qualified CS. So just be prepared, and to struggle a lot after this. Even
Yeah,
once you have your results, you have to still work a little hard to get, like, make the most out of your results. And
correct.
you have to prepare a lot for your interview, and keep at it. It could be like, yes, it could take a toll on you, but keep at it. And then once you have a job, yes, it's settled. Like, the fact that now when I go to, well, like, have fun, up to party, or I'm hanging out, at the back of my mind, I don't have this
You
guilt,
don't
oh, I
have
have
to
to go back
worry
and
about it.
study. Yeah. Oh, am I wasting my time here? Am I, like, I
Correct.
should, maybe I'm taking it too lightly, all of that. Okay, so yes, it is true that you cannot enjoy life very like smoothly when you are preparing for CA. You always have this guilt, you are always thinking about your exam, so that burden is off your shoulder. So
Yeah,
that is a very good plus. And when you talk about work life harmony, so it is going to, in Amazon, so there is this entire, like, there's this focus on work life harmony. We have meetings on it. There are a
correct.
lot of yeah, so there's a lot of focus on it. So we have things like no meeting day once a
Mm,
month, where we don't have any, no meetings will be scheduled. Or and they ask for suggestions, like how you want to have a work life harmony. Even we have a lot of games and all. Right now the sports thing is going on
oh,
here.
nice.
And we had a Diwali celebration that is there for, like, most of the companies. But
For
yeah, there is
employee
a
engagement.
good,
Yeah,
right. And for Amazon, I would say, like, they don't have this tracker timer. Like, a lot of companies have this, that the timer goes on till the
okay.
time you're logged in, so you don't have to sit in front of the screen throughout the day. It is, you finish your work in 3 hours, that's it, you can
Get
get
off.
it
Oh,
done.
that's
Like,
amazing.
you're
So,
done with your day. But if you're not so well versed and you take 12, 13 hours, that's on you. Like,
correct,
um
correct.
as long as
On
it's
your
more task
efficiency,
based.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's on your efficiency, and it's task based. And I think this is, I could say, for Goldman also, it was
Okay,
all task based. As soon as you can finish, you have your day off. So sort
that's
of like that.
amazing.
So it's better for you if you automate things, right? You just have to click the button, and then you can chill, and the reports are generated. So things like that. So it's not like you have to be logged in for so long and all of that. So work life harmony is good, it's great. mm, uh, yeah, like, working on weekends is not something which is common practice.
Okay.
But what I have heard, like, I haven't worked a lot, like, obviously I have just started. But from what I know from my peers and all, is
Uh-huh.
also that you get a comp off. You like, if you work on a holiday, you get a comp off. So that's fine.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So,
And honestly,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, go
just
ahead.
I would add one more thing to this. Being a fresher, even if, if you are a little heavier on the work side, and
Okay.
a little less from the life, I'm not saying like you have to be, if it's a balance of, you have to keep 50-50. And I'm not saying, yes, even if it's 100% work and 0% life, that is okay. Or 90% and 10, that is also not okay. But if it's 60-40, I think you should still be okay with it,
Still
because
be okay with it.
this
Okay.
is the time when you should work hard to
Correct.
get there. You have to, like, put in a lot, because it's a very competitive environment that we are living in. So if you're okay with,
Absolutely.
having just where you are, like, keeping a almost flatter growth curve or something, if you are okay with that, keep a 50-50 balance, or give 40% to work and 60% to life. That's up to you. But if you want to make it as steep as possible, so focus on work. Like,
Focus on
yeah, I think as a fresher, everyone should, at least for in the beginning of their stint, they should throw themselves to work.
Yeah, so Anam, my last question to you is, what should one's focus be primarily now, as like a student, as a freshly qualified chartered accountant? How should one approach the whole work life harmony thing, right? You're on mute, Anam.
Sorry for that. So, my honest opinion on work life harmony and how they should approach work would be that they have to be adaptive and to the environment. A lot of times it happens that you may have joined a team and like you might be shifted to another team based on the business requirements.
Correct.
You need to be okay with as long as the profile is the same. Obviously if you don't like the profile, switch, but you have to be adaptive to learn new things quickly, to move around the company quickly,
Correct.
and that will help you grow, like to learn the new tools and everything. So you have to be open about that. And the second thing is that keep it's okay even if you are focusing more on work, less on life. In the beginning, I would say, in the initial stages of your stint, if you want a steeper curve, growth curve, then you have to give the so you can get right.
Yeah.
So if you feel that okay, if I give like this 50, just keep a balanced approach or maybe focus more on life, then you're not going to get that steep growth curve. It might be flat, honestly, because it's a very competitive environment that we are in, and with all the recession thing going on, layoffs going on, you have to be at the top of your game. So some companies like the MBBs, they have move up or move out policy. So you have to keep moving up or you are out of the company. So even if your company doesn't have that policy, keep that at the back of your mind. Like, yeah, I have to move up, because then even for you it will not be challenging enough, right? If you are okay with whatever comes your way, if you're okay with getting
Right.
promotion just based on the tenure that you have had, and based on seniority rather than capability, then that is like you honestly, you're just being very less ambitious. So yeah, so that's what I would say, is
Yeah.
to work hard so you can literally party harder later.
Later. Yeah. So it's not even
Yes,
immediately after qualifying, also, you don't get a bed of roses. There is a bed, but it's not completely of roses. You still have your struggles. You have to come across those
there are thorns in those
thorns and,
roses,
yeah.
amidst those thorns. Yes, there are.
Okay. So for keeping in mind the growth trajectory, one has to
Yes,
focus right now on their on growing even after you qualify, because then you have uh, once people have qualified, it's like now you're competing against the even brighter minds. Like even
exactly.
like people are more focused now, and they are working towards
Right.
their individual goals now. So that's a good point to take. Thank you so much. It was really insightful.
Thank you.
I'm sure this is going to work as a guiding manual to anybody who wants to get into Amazon or financial
I
planning
hope so.
for that matter. So thanks a lot. It was
Great.
great chatting with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nishika. It was a great experience. Thank you.